And I just want to appreciate you guys for joining me today because I know I was really into trying to figure out what has been going on. And so, Ken, I want to know who's joining me. Let me know where you're coming from, who's joining in, so I can, be able to see on kind of who's here, where you're from, right? Because I know that I'm not the only one that has been going through this, right? And I feel like a lot of us go through this, but nobody talks about it because, like, these friendship breakups feel just as intense as these romantic ones. Am I the only one that feels that way? It just gets so intense where it's like, what what is even happening? So I want to hear from you. Who's joining me? Let's see. Because I mean, this past week has been something. And so I want to know on how your week has been. I just overall wanted to connect. Hey, Ursula. Yeah. Have you guys had these issues happen when it comes to friendship breakup? It's not going to be just me just talking. I definitely want to give tips and things, but I definitely just want us to just be able to talk, like have your tea, kind of be able to just kind of overall talk about what's going on because a lot of times we go through these things and we don't say anything about it. Like I was trying to ask people's experiences earlier. I know some people said some things. There were some really good notes over in the Facebook group too that we have that really talked about it as well. Has anyone went through a friendship breakup? I want to hear it. Drop a yes in the chat if you have. Because we got to see. I got to know, like, I'm not alone here when it comes to this, right? It is a process to heal from, especially if it's like someone you've been close to for a while. But I think a lot of times, sometimes it's unexpected. I don't know if yours was Ursula, was yours unexpected or was it like in that process of trying to about to end anyway? And anyone else can able to join in as well to kind of see exactly how you've been handling these friendship breakups. And we're going to talk about that and also know that I do have the retreat that's coming up for us too. After just going through what I know, even when even started doing this work, when coming out of, I don't know if you guys know, but I was in the reason I do this work overall is because I was in a narcissistic relationship and having to come out of it was challenging. Like I came out of that relationship not even knowing who I was, not even know what color I liked. And I found myself being in a space where I was constantly people pleasing and I wasn't really getting to know myself because I was so enmeshed with everybody else. Okay, yours unexpected. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's expected, sometimes unexpected when it comes to these friendships. But this is the reason why I even just kind of do overall what I do because it's different experiences where when I realized about the toxic, unhealthy relationship I had, then I saw that the people around me who I was talking to were also in some way toxic as well. And I was looking around like, okay, well, where did everybody go? Right? As I started setting my boundaries. Went from years from calling her. She was mentioning, see why I haven't spoken to her. I told her to get off my heart. Okay, okay. Years and so sometimes yeah, and it feels like it's a whole grieving process with it too that nobody talks about. Like I know sometimes it's like we're the ones that where the friendship just ended, and there's sometimes where the friendship just needed to just take its course. And sometimes it's expected, but it feels just like the romantic ones when it comes to that breakup. And so I don't know if you just kind of have these experiences where, like you guys were talking about, you've been friends for years and always felt like you to walk on, but a lot of times when you feel like walk on eggshells on somebody, around somebody. So what were the signs for you that you realized? Yes, it is a human process. What are the signs that you realized that it was a friendship breakup or was about to decline? I know there was some unexpected, but I want to hear from you like what you felt that was for you. Like what were the signs for you? I know for me it was I couldn't talk about everything with that friend, right? I could talk about possibly work, but I couldn't talk about when it comes to relationships. Or if I noticed that when it came to relationships, when it was going bad, they were all in my business, but when it was going good, they didn't want to talk about it. I don't know if you guys had that experience where a friend would do that. Okay, someone's mentioned our friendship ended due to me moving and not being as close as we were. It was like a dependent friendship. Yeah. Uh, those are hard. And then when it comes like depending on each other and sometimes like the codependent relationships, those are really hard. I definitely feel you on that. Yeah. And I think like going in and meeting new people, you kind of get a little scared of like who I can be able to fully trust and who I'm not able to fully trust too. Right. And I definitely love hearing your experiences of what happened. I know for me, one of the signs was walking on eggshells when they would talk about everything. It was, I wasn't I felt like everything just always had to be a certain way. Sometimes I hear people who I work with, some of my clients talk about feeling used by the person. Any other guys, other signs you experience? So we're discussing with friendship breakups, right? So whether it's a guy or a girl for you, but we're just kind of seeing exactly when it comes to a friendship breakup, what were the signs that you realized that the friendship was about to end, or whether you were the one that was on the receiving end or the one that was doing it, we were talking about. So you're just kind of getting a feel for that. Because I was naming exactly the signs that I knew for me what it was, but I want to hear what your signs were for you. Ooh. Okay. Right. One sign it was time to end was I statements. Everything was about a friend. It was cool when I was the rock. When that stuff going on, there was little to no support. Thank you, Ursula. Right? Like that's how you can be able to tell because a lot of times it's just about what the one person and I love this and I tell this to my clients as well is that there's three types of relationships, right? There's one where it's the narcissistic relationship where it's one side, it's all about me and that's it. And then there is the one that is transactional, which we do for work or business, but sometimes in friendships too. You give me what I want, I give you what you want. That's just in our agreement. We don't talk about it, but this is just what we do. And then there's that healthy relationship, which you can be able to tell because it's you are your own person, this person own person, and the relationship is its own identity. Yeah. So those are like the three different types of relationships that you can be able to have. And a lot of times we have transactional relationships, but a lot of times you don't realize and how it's one-sided in that the person might use you for advice, but when you had something going on, they'll make it about them. Have you guys had the situation happen? The sign up friendship was ending because I told her I wasn't there. But ooh, ooh, oh, that was getting them. The friendship was ending because I told her I wasn't a therapist. Constantly, and she ignored the red flags. My mind told her to leave him. Yes, right? Wow. Would we have to have those conversations? Like I am not your therapist, and I know even when it comes to, because of course, yes, I'm a therapist and toxic relationship recovery expert, but I'm a human first, right? I'm a human first, so there's certain situations where I have to keep going through as well when it comes to friendships and what we have to, what's going on. So sometimes I have to have those real conversations that I am not your therapist. Yeah, she ignore red flags. Right? And sometimes we have to, we're telling people to keep, what we call emotional dumping. And emotional dumping is when they're ever like saying everything and how they feel, and you're feeling like, okay, what to do with all these feelings, right? And then when someone's emotional dumping, you're like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? A lot of times, right? And we feel like we have to keep carrying their stuff where they feel better, but they're just emotionally dumping on you. Have you guys had that happen? Yeah, let me know. Just had that happen because and so when doing this work when it comes to these relationships, and especially with friendships too, because it doesn't always happen when it comes to just romantic, it comes with friendships as well, and being able to, yes, you guys feel me on this emotional dumping. Oh, that stuff is exhausting, but right? So, I mean, the key sign is when you feel exhausted, right? And when you're feeling drained after talking with the person. Like, I know when I would talk to somebody and I'll be like, man, is this phone call over yet? Like, right? Because it would feel so draining after talking with the person. Right? And what do you guys do in those situations when you're just drained from talking with the person? Right, Ursula. Yeah, me and you are just here. Even when I literally said I cannot do, even when I literally said I cannot do you right now, it was still I need your help and the guilt tripping. We were like family, really. The guilt. Like, can we talk about that guilt trip? Like, what is up with this guilt trip? Some people, like, we'll exactly tell people how we feel about something, and then a lot of times we're so used to this guilt trip because it's maybe from our family and our parents, because that seemed to be like the key thing. And then when for me growing up, where they would use the guilt trip for me to do certain things, and it would work. I would ignore their phone calls and zone out. Yes, okay, tips. I ignore their phone calls and zone out with music or do something for myself. Yes, because guilt tripping a lot of times it because something that worked beforehand, but we got to understand it's no longer going to work, right? When you're feeling guilt, when you're saying something, you say no to somebody, it's because you're doing something that's new and different. Uncomfortable does not mean run away. It's just new and different, right? So yes, ignore the phone calls, and yes, we'd love to kind of be able to hear those tips too, exactly what and how you handle those situations, because it does get exhausting and draining. Those are key signs as well. But so I want to hear, do you guys end up having the conversation with the person like, oh, I'm not going to be talking to you anymore. So from now on, I'm done with this. Does it feel like this? Oh, like saying no more now. I know that's right. Right? No. Once you get used to it, like at first it feels uncomfortable, but once you get used to it, it'll be like, whew, you got to deal with that resentment and that frustration afterwards. It's a peaceful thing. Who else likes saying no? Or some people struggle with that because it can feel exhausting. Kind of keep saying it, feel like you have to, so we don't have to feel a feeling of guilt, right? Like it kind of consistently can happen doing that when we're so worried about feeling a feeling that we don't allow ourselves to just fully be who we need to be. Several a conversation, a couple emails to state my points uninterrupted. It was such a yeah. And sometimes we can send the emails, right? And it feels cathartic. And sometimes it's just writing it out is just enough too, right? But sometimes people need to hear it. But the thing is, when they respond back or if they don't respond back, I think it's what our intention when going into it, right? Our intention when going into these types of friendships, breakups, right? Because sometimes a person respond and be like, I feel the same way and everything. No problem saying no. Yes. I'm I'm loving it, right? When you have just no issues with saying no and just overall can be yourself. But what I'm realizing is the key thing is having that self acceptance, right? Because you have to really get to know yourself when it comes to what you want and what you don't want. And it's different, right? Because I'm thinking, even when these friendships, before it was based on convenience. A lot of times, these friendships I've known for years, it was like, okay, well, we live in the same town. So we're here. So we live in the same town. Or, oh, we both had a narcissistic relationship, right? And I'm not saying it's an issue for someone to know, or a toxic relationship from a friend to know what that feels like, but you want to go based on where you're going and your values of where you're going, not based on your trauma or what has happened to you. Yeah. And what this is, okay. Oh, and when they respond still with what they need, it's a wrap. We are not, it appears we will not be on the same page or even the same book. Like, so you want someone to be able to hear you and what you have to say. And it's hard being able to say it. Like, it's really hard being able to tell somebody no. I mean, any breakup as it is. But when it comes to the friendships, a lot of times it's interesting on how with, men, you do something and it's like, sometimes, right? Sometimes we stay longer than needed, but we're just kind of done with it. But then when it comes to our friendships, we'll be like, oh, we're 20 years in. I know friends for 20 years. And it's like, okay, but this person been doing this for 20 years. Why are we still staying here? Right? Like, why are we still doing that to ourselves? It makes you think like, why do we stay in these types of friendships knowing it doesn't work for us? Yeah. Oh, okay. Said a toxic narcissistic friend, and when I finally said no, she unloaded on me. I let her have her say and stay silent. I'm okay, but she does desire the response. I have nothing to say. Okay, sometimes letting people say, but a lot of times I'm like, and it's interesting on how when it comes to unhealthy individuals or relationships, if we're so used to it, we literally stay frozen. I know that would be me at times, even sometimes, even now, right? Like if I still have to deal with the person. So, being in those situations, it'd be like you just kind of freeze up at times and it's like, okay, man, kind of talk yourself out of, okay, I don't have to deal with this. I don't have to do things like this, but no, it can happen to anybody. Okay, I did because of loneliness being burned by a lot of people. Some people took my kindness for weak. Right, right. And the thing is, we feel like these whole things of boundaries is mean, but it's not. It's you protecting your peace or protecting yourself. And so when it comes to friendship, it's the same thing. Like, not just feel like it just has to be with romantic relationships, but know that it can exactly be with those friendships as well. It does not have to be where you think the same thing just because we've known each other for a long time and keep that with you. Like, it doesn't have to be that way. So as you're seeing all these signs that are coming up, I want you to be able to know that, that's why I was doing the self-acceptance masterclass. And when I even was thinking about this retreat, because this took me a while to do, right? Like, it was just a whole, if you guys got the behind the scenes look at it of just trying to find an event planner and trying to do all the things and had to scratch everything and figure it out. And so what I was like, okay, what would be fun? What would be fun for the ladies or anything? Oh, I'm gonna get back to that. What would be fun for the ladies that we can do? And so I went last year to a beautiful, I don't know if you guys been to Stone Winery, but it was just this beautiful experience. And I thought this would be perfect because what we did was able to drive around, just really be ourselves and have glasses of wine during the ride in the golf cart. It was just an amazing experience. And so when I was really thinking about what was the girlfriend annual retreat for this year, because before it was called girlfriend annual retreat, the first year we did a dinner, second year we did the same thing. I was like, this year we got to switch it up. Right. So we are going to do just a day retreat where, we have it all together when it comes to work. But right? It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. So, but when we got to like just drive around the beautiful area and then be able to have this beautiful wine experience that's tailored just for us, that is why I did that. But no, there's two things because in this day retreat, it's going to be just a brunch from one of the top restaurants in the Leesburg area, Tuscarora Mills. I don't know if you guys had it, but it's so good. So we're gonna have brunch there, but our own section. I'm making this like private. Like, I was like, we need our private section because when we had that, we're gonna have our brunch in the morning. So from 10:30, you can get there by 10, but 10:30 to 1, it's going to be brunch. It's going to be mimosas if you want to, right? It's going to be just, you always can have just regular drinks so you don't have to drink. But it's overall just about the connection. We're gonna have a self-acceptance. We're gonna do activities. I just want this to be about you connecting and being there for yourself. So no, that is for the VIP. So we can be able to do that. I put the QR code there if you want to go and grab the early bird because the early bird ends next week. When it comes to that, there are payment plans available. There's a bi-weekly and a monthly payment plan. So two or I think four, you do two payments do the monthly, or you do four biweekly payments. I try to make it where we had enough time in advance to be able to do that. But overall, it is such an amazing experience. So I wanted to be able to just know that that is for the VIP diamond access, and this is the early bird. This is going to include the brunch and it's going to include the wine, the it's a luxury wine tasting where they're gonna take you around, they're gonna feed you, like you're gonna just be relaxing all day, right? That's what it's gonna be about. We can, leave at a certain time, but we're able to just kind of have that space for ourselves. And so it's not this rush. You can just be able to take that time for you throughout the day. So definitely, be able to grab your pass for the VIP Diamond experience. If you are like, want to just go in the morning for the brunch and the self-acceptance masterclass, we're going to really dive deep into just owning and learning you and that self-awareness to kind of really take you feeling at your best self when you know yourself and accept yourself. You can be able to do the VIP Gold Access Pass. So that is available as well, which is just the brunch is going to be the 10:30 to 1 time frame, where the VIP is all day, right? So you have the QR code for the VIP right here and for the gold access right here. I wanted to be able to share that to you. Yes, it's so beautiful, right? Tuscany's is so good. Yes, oh my goodness, did I say Stone Bridge? Okay, yes, Stone Tower Winery, right? Am I saying it right? I believe so. Yeah, Stone Tower Winery. Mm-hmm. It is so beautiful over there, especially in the spring and summertime. It is gorgeous. So I cannot wait. I'm so excited just to be able to see you guys in person and to be able to just kind of like, I think I kind of see you guys just all through virtually. So be able to just kind of see you guys in person. And whether you live in Virginia, DMV, outside of DMV, just having this day for you can make it into a weekend thing if you would like. Meeting other ladies, you can be able to have that time to just kind of schedule things with each other. It's really going to about you being intentional when it comes to being in this space, because a lot of times we don't realize is that when we have all these toxic relationships around us, we have to lean into the things that feel good. We have to lean into the feelings of being around the people who are willing to do the work. They're going and trying to learn more about themselves. A lot of times we realize is that the people that we're around is more on a fixed mindset, like this is how I am and that's it. There's some people who are in that growth, but there's some people who are just fixed. This is just what you're going to get, versus being around people on a growth mindset who want to learn more, want to get that empowerment, who want to do better for themselves. Being around those people are going to have those healthy relationships that are going to be around you. So know that this is going to be available for you, but early bird does end next Friday. So you want to get this, because for the Diamond Access, there's only 9 seats left, or this VIP Gold spots, it's a little more spaces that are in here. So know that it is limited. Okay. So I want to be able to kind of go back and read the captions as well. So, okay. So because okay, so some people, you're right. So when it comes also with friendships, and someone mentioned that she wanted an argument, but I'm okay with her narrative. I know who I am and need not to prove myself to. Yes, you need not to prove yourself to anyone. Anyone. It is not necessary to prove yourself. You know who you are, and like owning that is huge. It's so huge. Also, someone mentioned I left a friend chat group because a former friend's energy tainted it. And sometimes that has to happen, right? And so know that you are not alone when it comes to friendship breakups, that it's something that does happen, right? And it's something like, if it's interesting, like I talked about before, like we got to treat our romantic relationships like our friendships. If you wouldn't take this from someone that you were just dating, why would take that from a friend? Whether it's using you or how they're talking about you. And I know we don't talk to the friend as much, so you might not be in your face, but are red flags that are there as well. And just because you know someone since childhood doesn't mean you have the rights to your life. Things change. Yes. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. I don't understand why kind people are taken advantage of so much. That's a good question. Why do we feel as though kind people are taken advantage of so much? And I think it's really about the person's perspective. Like you're going against someone's perspective, their experience, how they grew up, where they're so used to it. Like if someone's so used to just talking crazy and They're just going to be like, it's just normal. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Why don't I understand why kind of we're taken advantage of so much? I know I give my thoughts when it comes to it. I want to hear your thoughts. What does that look like? Yeah, because we really don't know on why crime we're taken advantage of. I want to, as you guys are typing, I want to be able to just seeing how I don't ever want. A lot of times they're like, "Well, I'm not going to be kind anymore." I don't want you ever to ruin or not ruin, but like feel like you can't be kind. This is you, right? But I think it's just kind of having that kindness, that unconditional love with boundaries. A good point. Needy people can drain kind people's energy, and that's how you can feel. Like especially when you're having that empathy, notice it in how you feel is going to be key tell signs, and especially like I want you to realize when I started to realize, I was like, wait, why am I talking about this person so much? But I'm still hanging out with them. What is going on? If you're talking about a person constantly, like in a gossip format that you're not like wanting to tell them, but you're telling everybody else, that's a key sign that there's something going on in that relationship. Have you guys noticed that? I gotta think about like why am I don't because usually I don't talk about anybody, but I'm talking about this person constantly, but I'm not willing to change it. And that definitely can happen. I think they're just used to taking. And oh, you just said it, boundaries top of the list. Yes, yes, boundaries are so necessary. Oh, and another response. I think some people grow up learning how to give a lot, and others are used to taking, and maybe don't necessarily see it as taking advantage of someone's kindness, right? But I love it how both you guys are giving like perspective of like they're used to taking, they're used to doing these things, so it doesn't seem so it's just normal to them, right? And so, but the thing is, them taking and it being normal has nothing to do with you. It only has something to do with you if you decide to take along with it. If you see that, someone's constantly taking and sometimes you feel like, oh, we gotta, just keep giving, but nothing is being returned. Healthy relationships are give and receive. It's not just give, and that's it. Right? So we really gotta be careful of that. So I want to be able to just like us have be able to talk about when it comes to friendship breakups and be able to understand on like the signs of it, and you guys ask some good questions too, and just kind of why kind people are being taken advantage of and talking about and how you got to have that, self acceptance and then also realizing you just what are we and also and it's a good question, what are we doing to contribute to the relationship staying longer than it's needed, right? We're not saying exactly how we feel. We're not setting our boundaries, right? We have to be able to do those things to really stay true to ourselves. So, I wanted to make this, about 30 minutes, you guys be able to just kind of have this conversation. And I'm so thankful for you guys being here and hope you really enjoyed this, having this conversation and taking that time for yourself to really just be able to have this discussion and know you are definitely not alone in this. No, I really hope to be able to see you at the retreat. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be able to see you guys. Someone said not setting boundaries. Yes, we don't set boundaries, and that means for yourself too, right? It's a lot of times you think about for other people. Boundaries are for you, right? If I need to, take that time for myself to go ahead and do it. I've set boundaries in my life since my panic attack. Yeah. Sometimes there's certain situations that happen that lead us into knowing, okay, this is enough. If it's hurting our health, yeah. For me, it wasn't until I was literally in crisis that's when I saw it clear as day. It's interesting how a lot of us, do you see that? Like a lot of us are saying that. It's interesting how when we're in crisis is when we start to do something differently. Yeah. About the friend. Yeah. 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 It was still about the friend. How is that possible? Yeah. So, it's just so interesting in how we have to go through these situations where we're in crisis where it really wakes us up to be like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. And when there was a lot of times where you felt it. Yeah. Oh, I'm so good that you said enough. Then I said enough. That's powerful. Like, but I want you to, like, on all of you guys, just being there for yourselves is what's going to be key and what's going to be important. Because it is enough being able to have to go through something like that. Yeah, I had people always crying because they didn't have a lot of help in their lives. My life is my main priority. Right? Like there's why there's people that's out there to be able to help people, but they're not willing to get the help, but they want to just be poor. They want to just be dumping on you. I can't stand that. Right? I'm like, if you need the help, there's plenty of therapists, coaches that you can be able to see to be able to help you with these things versus like get the dump on me and then want me to be able to pick up the pieces and figure something out. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? Am I supposed to solve it? I mean, because I know it for doing for the work I do is one thing, but in personal life, I'm not trying to solve exactly what you have going on if it's a life that you're choosing for yourself. I stepped away to preserve me. Oh, that's a good point. Has anyone else done that? Just feel like a step away to preserve you. Mm, we're hearing your point. We are all ears. Ooh, after I set the boundaries, a friend walked away. I just had this conversation earlier too because it looks like when somebody's manipulation is no longer working, that they want nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with you. When how they did things or how manipulated you is no longer working, they're like, all right, they find someone else to manipulate. And it's interesting because I just had a client earlier, like literally right before here, and she was mentioning on how she had parents, this is a parent standpoint, but this is the kind of same concept. I've had parents who were just controlling and didn't and treated her horribly. And it wasn't until she like stuck with her boundaries consistently and even with the friends had to let those go because it just was getting draining. Constantly she was felt like she was getting people who were using her and getting something from her. And it wasn't until she was consistently set her boundaries that they started being nice to her. It's crazy on how that works. You teach people how to treat you through your boundaries. And if they don't respect it, they will walk away. But I want you to know it's a good thing. She had a therapist, but she was with the narcissist husband who used to abuse her. Mm, yeah. Yeah. Being in that type of situation is really rough because, especially if we're used to having chaos in our lives, it just seems normal. It just seems normal. Ooh, okay. It wasn't until after I said, "Woo, this what peace feels like," then the grieving process. Uh, isn't that so key there that even though it feels in, or so like even though it felt uncomfortable in that moment, the peace you felt afterwards, I mean, I can speak to that. Like, even though it feels so uncomfortable having, like, being able to pull away and having that conversation, but like the peace, I gotta listen to that stuff anymore. I'm good. I am good. I don't listen to that stuff anymore. I am perfectly fine with that. Right? Yes. Okay. I'm finding it hard to step away from a friendship because it's with a sibling. Ooh, let's talk on that. Okay. Let's help this. Let's help this friend out. Let's help this sister out. When it's a sibling, what do you do? I want to hear what you guys have to say. Any tips when it's a sibling and the person, it's like you need to have that breakup, but it's a sibling. How would you work that? How would you work that? I got some wows because these are difficult conversations, right? Like difficult conversations. I don't even know if you have to have a conversation. I know when it comes to, I believe it's only sibling. Yep. Yeah. And this is, and let me put the chat so you can guys be able to see what I'm looking at. But when it is that only sibling, I know when it comes to the friend, I think it's kind of like easing your way out. There's a couple ways to do it. You can have the conversation, but like when easing your way out of it, I definitely would invite, you to, when there's a conversation or if there's a calling, I'm busy, and just kind of slide your way out. Because if it's like constantly feeling anxiety when having a talk with the person, is it worth it? I have set boundaries and stepped away, but I get pulled back in. And yes, it's the only sibling. It can be tough when it's the only sibling, but I like to tell people it's one of those, if they didn't have the title of brother, sister, mom, dad, best friend for 20 years, would I still hang out with them in this moment? Not back in the day when you first met, but in this moment, would I still hang out with them being who they are right now? The answer is no. Then it's kind of making that step in doing something different, right? Not feeling like you have to torture yourself at all times. I know it can be hard. For some people, it's easy because they don't have to see them. But if it's someone where you have to see, it's going to be really okay. What is it that I need in the moment? Not what they need, but what do I need? If it's them constantly making comments, it's going to be like I had the story earlier with the young lady who had to do with her parents and her siblings, where it was constantly every time they try to, like, if you don't talk to me in this way, I'm not coming. Or yeah, if you don't set, if, and seeing what that is for you, right? If you're going to keep talking like this to me, then I'm not going to respond. Like having those consequences that keeps your peace, right? Or if you call me out my name, the conversation is going to be over. Yeah. And maybe sometimes, seeing what that look like. So maybe if you kind of the boundaries you had to set with your mom can maybe kind of help somebody else and kind of really see and what they can do. Because they're really a close relationship is a close, relationship, or what is supposed to be close. But I think what we don't really say is that just because it's a sibling, it doesn't mean, or anybody, it's a relationship. Like just because a sibling doesn't mean they're going to get along. It does not mean that. There's some siblings that get along, but there's some that do not. It's just you have the same mother. That was about it. And it's just different. And so it's not feeling like you have to get talked to with a person. It is an ongoing process. But the thing is, it worked out through consistently setting those boundaries and also the one with yourself. I'm not saying because you can't control the other person, but it was like, if you're going to do this, I can't look at it. Or if it was different things that was set to kind of get to that point. So, what are some things that you feel like you could do to kind of set that boundary with that sibling? And it doesn't have to be you saying something to her if you don't feel comfortable doing that. It could even mean mm, not have her in my home, or it could mean, you know, if we do meet, it's outside with the kids, so it's a distraction, or outside with someone that I feel safe with. So I don't want you to feel like you have to always do that with having to feel like take somebody else. But if it's something where you feel like I don't want to give this up, you can. Or it could look like there's so many different options you can do. I think people just go to with one option, I have to deal with it. But there's so many different options on how you can make this work. If anyone has any advice on it, let us know in the chat so we can see that. Because you guys are killing it with the advice, and it's really helping somebody else to be able to handle these tough situations. So what is the advice that you guys have? And know that like I mentioned earlier, we do have a retreat on June 10th from 10:30 to 6. It's our day retreat. It's our annual one we do every year. We just do a different theme every year. And know that is still available if you want to do the brunch and the wine, which is VIP. We're going to have a closest to intimate setting with the VIP. Where the brunch has more people, know that this is going to be available for you. Okay, that's a VIP access. And also know that comes with the wine, the VIP Diamond Access Pass. And we have the one that just includes the morning section, which is the brunch. Unlimited brunch, most of self-acceptance masterclass is only also included in this. It is going to be good. It's a really good restaurant. I'm so excited about that. Okay. Okay, all right. The cost. Oh, good point. So for the VIP, because it's limited section, what we're doing is the early bird is $375, or we can do 2 payments of, I believe, $188. I think I'll leave it on there. Let me see. Yeah, the Encore. It has on there as well, right? The different payments, but you're going to do 4 biweekly payments or 2 monthly payments when it comes to that. And we're just going to be chatting together, having a good time. And I want to be able to see you guys in person, right? If we're just a brunch, the brunch is right now, it is $147, which is Unlimited Brunch and Self-Acceptance Masterclass. And we're going to be having just meeting each other, meeting other people, that closeness, the intimacy, because it is an event, and we're just going to have overall exclusive for ourselves, exclusive with just each other. It's going to be a really good time. When I really plan these events, I really curate on the type of feel that I want to be able to experience within this, and just kind of us coming together and having a good time. And so glad to see you guys. Yes, I never really gave thought to how to set the boundaries, so learning it now. Since learning it now, being aware of what it's really helping. Yes. I can't wait to see you. I really want to be able to see you guys there and be able to just kind of I always see you guys virtually, just see you guys in person. Oh, I know you guys aren't huggers. Let me know, because I am a hugger, just so you know. Yes, the transport to the winery. So it's a couple of options. I wanted to, there's going to be people who are going to be able to be driving to there, but it is an 18-minute drive. And I know there's some people who want to leave early, some people who didn't want to. So there's a break from about 1:30 to 2:30. There is a break. So the winery part starts at 2:30. So where we'll be tapping into that, and that's going to be about 2:30 to 4:30 for the whole experience. And then we're just going to stay and just chat and eat, and then people can leave when they want to. So that's why I give people the option to be able to drive. Yeah. So you can stay as long as you want to, if you feel like, because last time we went, it was some wine. It was some good wine, but it was feeling it. So it gives you time to just be able to relax. You get to eat food afterwards too. Their food is so good. Have you had their food? Oh my God. It was so good. I had the pizza last time. It's so delicious. Man, right? Stone Tower is amazing food. It's crazy. It is just core meals, and then we're just gonna have good food, laughter, fun, wine. It's gonna be a good it's gonna be a good time. Okay. And then we have Sunday to be able to just relax. so you guys relaxing because it's going to be an experience. I just really enjoyed and be able to see everything, and I just wanted to have that for you guys. Yes, I do have the link. Let me be able to get that for you. Da, 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 da. Do that. Okay, so put that in the chat. This is for VIP. I believe so. Okay. So that you can get that. Is any more questions about the retreat? Any more questions? Yeah, either from the Tuscarora Mills is about 18 minutes. You got a bathroom and continue to talk in between. And then because the people are just going to brunch, not everyone's going to go with us to the winery because it's only going to be about only 12 of us can come. And there's only just 9 spots left right now. So that's why I wanted to make it small. I want to make it intimate where we can just kind of really get to know each other. The brunch is going to be just a self-acceptance masterclass or really knowing yourself and then being able to just have those connections is what I just wanted to just have a good time and just relax. And that's what the Girlfriend Annual Retreat, what I started was all about, was about just taking that time half of the year to just how things have been going, checking in with yourself, having that time for yourself, relaxing, enjoying the experience, getting some wine with some good people. That was the whole point of that. So know that this is available for you. And if there's any other questions, this is, feel free to let me know. Yes, pens, notes. Yeah, pads and pens for notes. Yeah, definitely have notes, but I will give you 10:30 to 6 is a yes, 10:30 to 6 is the time. If you do the VIP experience, is the time. If you do just the brunch, it's going to be 10:30 to 1:30. But yeah, but then you have 1:30 to 2:30 get over there, and we can ride with each other if you want to. But some people, I know how I am. I'm like, okay, I want to be able to leave when I want to go. But it's overall just a beautiful experience and a good time. Overall relaxing. There's like a lot of people do weddings there because literally this picture that you're seeing is the view. When I tell you, this is the view of this is when I went last time with one of my close friends. This is a view that we were just experiencing and be able to see that beautiful land in Virginia. It was so good. It was so good. And the food is so good. It was just like, oh, you felt just like in this luxury experience. So yes, 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 yes. My team and my members need to come here. This is so good. It is so beautiful. And then I want you guys to dress up, your sundress, you be comfortable. I was gonna look cute. It's a day for us. So yes, it is from 10:30 to 6 is the time. Right? You're welcome to stay later or come earlier. It is up to you. We're still gonna be having a good time. It is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. You definitely can bring pens and pads and pens for notes, but I'm going to have materials that you can have, but just so you have your own notes for yourself. Some people, because there will be like certain questions to ask and being able to talk this question. No. So if there's no wine tasting, it would be this one. And let me know if it's not showing this, if it's showing something different. It should. So it's this one. If you're just doing the brunch, it's this one. And no, it's not the same price. And let me know if there's any confusion with that. No, Diamond Access is the only one that includes the winery. This one just includes the brunch. We have the unlimited brunch, your mimosas, the self acceptance masterclass, have activities, interactive activities to kind of really just knowing yourself and just the other people around you. You never know who you'll meet too. There's such beautiful people that I've met across just doing this type of work. I just can't wait for them to get to meet you. No worries. Okay, awesome. If there's no any questions, know that we will be back here. I wonder if we should do this a weekly thing. Should we do a weekly thing, bi-weekly thing? We'll just kind of see what you guys say, because I want to be able to just overall continue just talking with you guys, having these conversations. If there's anything else that you're like, I really need to know this question and talk about this, let me know. We can be able to talk about it and give my tidbit about like what that is for you, and just be able to know that we're not alone and talking with each other. But I hope I see you guys at this brunch and at this winery, like getting your tickets. You only have 9 spaces left as far as with the winery, with the VIP diamond access. So I want you guys to be able to get that. Mm-hmm. Yes, bi-weekly. There's a bi-weekly option. I believe it says, so you know what I can do here is I can be able to share my screen to show you exactly how to do it. And so with um, the what you would click, make sure I can share my screen. Okay, so if you click the link, you'll put this website, you just click X here, and then what you'll do is you'll go down. If you want to just pay it in full, you get this. If you go down, you should see here. It says weekly option, but if you click in it, it's bi-weekly, it's 4 payments. Wait, what is going on? There we go. So 95 every 2 weeks would be 4 payments of that. So look like this. If you decide to do the other option, which is a monthly option, you would click that, push continue, and there'd just be 2 payments of that for the VIP, right? It'll be the same for the other link. And you would do that, subscribe, it'll only be 2. So remember, it would be 2 for monthly and 4 bi-weekly payments if you do the bi-weekly. And we make sure that it's just that. Yeah. Of course. Yes. You are so welcome. You guys have a great night. I cannot wait to see you grab your tickets, knowing that like I'm here for you. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And I look forward to being able to see you guys, at the brunch and in person, but also just, over on the lives as well and in the chat. I love being able to see your answers, being able to get to know more about you and just seeing exactly your experiences. So I'm so glad you're here, and thank you guys for coming. And I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.